today we are at the 7th episode of GS2 governance, and if you haven't watched the previous 6 episodes, I would recommend you to watch that and then come here, because this episode will be a continuation of the previous episode, so that will be beneficial for you. So before starting our lecture, I would have a small announcement. Please do have a look at all the playlists which are available in this channel, and these are actually designed for UPSC. These are all part of our paid courses, but if the response is good here, we'll be considering putting it fully for free. So what you have to do is, please do subscribe and leave a feedback comment. And if you're looking for a good quality test series, then you can approach Vysh IAS WhatsApp. The number is given on the screen. This is a high quality test series. You can try it. So the number is 7200681675. So without further delay, let's move on to the lecture. So in the earlier episode, we have learnt about the good governance part 1, wherein we have learnt in the aspects of transparency, etc. Okay, so in this lecture, we'll be continuing with the part 2 of governance, that is, we'll be dealing with e-governance, citizen charter and certain tax reforms. Okay, so we'll move on to the lecture. So we have to have, while talking about e-governance, we should keep some standardized definitions so that you can use in answer writing. So as per the second ARC report, it has defined e-governance as something which is associated with carrying out the functions and achieving the results of governance through utilization of ICT. So ICT is the integral part of e-governance. Through ICT or using some digital technologies, the government is trying to ease the administration, like e-democracy is there, e-public service delivery is there, e-services is there. So we are taking the aid of ICT technologies, information and communication technologies are used to ease the governance process and increase the administrative efficiency. Then next definition is by World Bank. It is defining the e-governance as the use by government agencies. Okay, so government is using some technologies like wide area network, internet, mobile computing, etc., wherein there is Paytm, that Google Pay, etc. So that is mobile computing. Also you can pay utility bills using mobile computing. Okay, so such technologies are being used for the transformation of relations between citizens, business and other arms of government. See, here we are having citizen. Okay, this is a strata. Then we are having businesses, and then we are having government. So to increase the communication between all the three organs, we are taking the aid of information and communication technologies. Okay, that is the World Bank definition. Then talking about e-governance, it is actually ensuring the better delivery of government services to citizens. That means the delivery is fast, the public service delivery is fast, and the grievance redressal is fast. See, now we are moving on to the online applications. Say for an example that we are taking to apply a PAN card. Okay, so in earlier times, if we have to apply a PAN card, we have to go to an office. But now, since it is in online, so you can hassle-free. The process has become hassle-free. You can sit in your home and apply for the PAN card. So better delivery. It is ensuring the better delivery of government services, and there is improved interactions with business. See, we are having public domains like mygovernment.in. This is a public domain. So government is trying to increase the interaction with the citizen also, and this is improving the efficiency. Why? There is check and balance and better consensus is there. So we are improving the efficiency also. So overall, the goals of e-governance are improving the transparency and accountability. See, here you can quote an example also. We have used the country of origin clause in the government e-marketplace, and that was a move to economically boycott China. The details of this you can just go and search, and that will be the task for you today. Then next is empowering people through information. Okay, so information or awareness is the main problem with respect to all the public services being delivered to people, because people are not aware. We are a digitally illiterate population. So this is actually empowering the people because it is involved in information disbursement. Okay, next we'll move on to the interactions in e-government. What are the interactions taking place over e-government? So we are having three components, G2C, G2G and G2B. So G means government and C means citizen and the B means business. So G2C, what is happening? That means what are the interactions taking place between government and citizen. So here you can quote some example like Swayam, then e-Aushadhi, then registration of vehicles, then COVID vaccination. We are having portals. Okay, for registration of vehicles also we are having portals. Swayam, it is an educational channel, online educational channel by government. So government is using this ICT as a link to provide the services to the citizen. So this is G2C interaction. Okay, so the delivery of the public service is becoming convenient in lines with the citizen centricity, and there are N channels, that means anywhere. So if we have to access this Swayam channel, we just need a smartphone or a computer, and by sitting in our homes we can access that. So that is anywhere we can access the service. So this is improving the convenience also. Then next aspect or next component is the G2G. G2G means government to government interactions are taking place via the channel of e-governance. See, here you can quote the example of the Secretariat of Rajasthan, e-Secretariat of Rajasthan, it is an example. So it is like coordination between the various governmental departments itself. Then the Himmat app, it is referred to the Delhi police. Himmat app, it is related to the Delhi police for the grievance redressal. Here also government to government interaction is taking place through ICT. Then G2B, government to business, how it is happening. So you can quote MCA 21. This is a corporate governance app. Okay. Then for tax collection, then government e-marketplace is there. Again e-NAM is there, that is also related to a entity only. Okay, so all those things, the relations between the government and business is also taking place through e-governance. Okay, then G2E is also there. This is the fourth component. Okay, so this is not much relevant, but it is also a component, G2E, that is employee. So the leave application, the salary, etc., the salary transfer or the leave application, all those employment related conditions are communicated by the employee and government through e-governance channel. So overall, while considering all these four components, this e-governance is making the administration more efficient and easier. Okay, then talking about the importance of e-government. So in India, as we know, population is very high. So for effectively administering people, how can a group of people sitting at a parliament or a state legislature administrate all the varied and diverse needs of this much huge population? That is practically not possible. So this is in lines with the minimum government and maximum governance model of the current government. Okay, and we are having this Digital India initiative, wherein we are having various digital initiatives like digital health ID card, etc., in various sectors. Okay, so this is in a way boosting the Digital India. Using e-governance will boost the initiatives under Digital India, and again this helps in the generation of a set of conscious citizens. So these citizens, they will be rights conscious because they are getting many channels of the information. So they are becoming aware of the government policies. So it acts as a check and balance upon the government. Okay, so this is a important point. Then next is paper based economy. It is of high expenditure and irregular. So it is difficult to maintain. If we have to maintain the paper records of the health details of even one person, that would take one shelf of a rack. So, and it is also irregular. Sometimes it can get destroyed also. So keeping the information in a digital format is very useful, and it is safe and secure. Okay, so this is one point. Then strengthening the concept of e-democracy. So the use of IT have actually incorporated all the sections to participate in the governance, because we are having many public portals like Pragati platform is there. Pragati platform, here you can link it with e-governance also. So participative governance is being brought in. Okay, so people are knowing more about the government, they are participating more in the governance process. The opaqueness of government is decreasing. Then Next is pillars of e-governance. Who are the pillars? So people, process, technology and resources. These are the 4 pillars which you can see in e-governance, and these are working in a coordinated manner. Then, although we are talking about the importance of e-governance, we are also to discuss about the challenges to e-governance in place. So the first and foremost challenge is that absence of policy guidelines. See, if we want e-governance, we should be having a proper data protection network or a proper data infrastructure. That itself is lacking. See, even data protection bill in India has not been yet passed. So then how when data protection bill itself is not passed, how can you ensure the public trust? This goes into question. Okay, so this absence of policy guidelines and from the part of government is a problem. With respect to the remote areas and access issues, here we have to take a note that most of the Indian population, they are residing in the rural areas. So in the rural areas we are having serious connectivity issues. Okay, so internet penetration is very less in rural areas. So if internet penetration itself is less, how can you give services in an online mode? That is not possible. So first we have to concentrate upon projects like BharatNet to increase the coverage and speed of the internet. Okay, then lack of data on human resources also. So to enforce this scheme, we need a stock of human capital. That is even lacking in India. There is a lack of trained professionals to handle this scheme. Then next is the cost of institutional framework. See, here we are talking about the supercomputers and digitalization. Apart from the digital infrastructure, we require many supercomputers and many other equipments to ensure the efficient administration of the e-governance regime. So that itself is lacking in India. We are not competitive enough with many other neighbors like China. They are having many number of supercomputers. So here in India, R&D is also very less. So it takes more time to increase the efficiency of e-governance. Okay, then next is the privacy issues. This I have already talked, that data protection bill, that is a debatable issue, and security of data is a public trust matter, because health information like health, they are critical data, they need to be protected. Then next is interoperability issues are there. Then next one is local language inclusion. See, wherever we go in online services, we are getting services mainly in English and Hindi, but there are many other people who doesn't know English or Hindi. So actions should be taken to incorporate all the other language, so that we can bring in the language inclusivity. Then even if we are setting up the infrastructure, the maintenance cost is very big, because we have to, since this is dealing with a digital infrastructure, we have to constantly upgrade the technology, because many issues like virus and cyber attacks are there. So this infrastructure is prone to such cyber attacks. So what we have to do, we have to take ample care in maintaining that also. Okay, next is, it may reduce the administrative capacity. See, when the officials are having this easy channel, they will be going behind the easy channels only. So when there is an online application kind of thing, government will be going behind that only. And apart from that, many government employees, they are not much digitally literate also. See, digital penetration has come to India very recently only. So the generation prior to some 10 years or so, that government employees, they are also not much digitally literate. So it is a challenge from their part to implement these e-governance scheme in an efficient manner, and it takes time for adapting also. Then here you can quote a case study in Aadhaar linkage in Andhra Pradesh. There was over centralization. Okay, so there was delays in pensions and portal was not operating properly. Okay, so that is one case study which you can quote with respect to the challenge of e-governance. Then next is the lack of reliable data. Okay, even if data is collected, the data collection is inconsistent and the validity of the data is questionable. If the data given is true, that all things remain a problem. Then data privacy. Biometric failures are overridden by VRO route. This sentence as such you can write in answer writing. Okay. So VRO, it is related to science and technology. You don't need to dig into that. This you can quote as an example. Biometric, as you know, it is related to privacy only. Okay. Next issue, it is relating to the industrial and corporate nexus with the state. See, already the state is having an opaqueness. The transparency level in India is very low. So added to that, when the common citizens itself, they are not aware of the schemes of government, the industrial and corporate nexus, nepotism, corruption, etc. becomes a matter for the state and for the citizens. So e-governance initiative, actually they are meant to be complementary to enhance service delivery, but it is like a monopolization of service. When we are increasing the rate of e-governance to a group of citizens who are digitally illiterate, that is not ensuring the public access. First of all, we have to make them equipped. Only then we have to move on to the e-governance initiative. Otherwise, it will be leading to the monopolization of service, because all those authorities will be supreme in the service delivery. Okay. Then it can drive inequality also, okay, between a digital illiterate and digitally handicapped one. That is, digital divide can be a consequence. Okay. So here I have given 4 pillars of e-governance in a diagrammatic way. Such types of diagrams also you can use. Then we have to discuss about some of the e-governance initiatives which you can use as examples while you write answers. So first is Bhoomi project. It is with respect to the land records, the digitalization of land records, so that the fragmentation of land and all those issues can be solved. So this is by Karnataka. Then next is e-Seva. This is by Andhra Pradesh. It is like a service delivery. It is a decentralized approach. So citizens are linked with government departments. So here you can see this is a G2C interaction, e-Seva. Okay. So next is e-courts. E-courts, it is a good step in reducing the judicial pendency in India. Okay, so this is an initiative of Ministry of Labour. It is actually giving judicial services via ICT technology. Then MCA 21. This is a app by Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and it is offering electronic services to companies. So the corporate governance is becoming more easier. Then DigiLocker, to safely preserve our documents. Okay, it is a safe place so that we can preserve our certificate kind of things, and we can access them electronically also. Okay, then e-hospital online registration framework. What is this? It is an initiative so that the patients can take online OPD appointments. They don't have to go and wait in the hospitals in the long queue. They can just book it online, and it covers laboratory services also. If we need any blood test also, that can be done. Then National Scholarships Portal. So this is for application. So if we need any scholarship, we can apply through this portal. Then Darpan initiative. Darpan, it is used to analyze the key projects of the state. Okay, so this is the presentation. This is like an analytical model wherein you can see some key performance indicators. Okay, so this is like awareness and information dispersal. Okay. Then next is Pragati platform. This is proactive governance and timely implementation. So this is relating with participative governance, so that we can bring transparency and accountability in government. It is like information dispersal to government. It is like a check and balance system. Okay. Then next is the major suggestions which can be done to improve the framework of e-governance. So second ARC has given some suggestions. What we can do is, we have to make the government forms, processes, exam, etc. adaptable to e-governance ecosystem. So first of all, there should be a coordination. These process, etc. should be, that means we have to first incorporate the infrastructure. Suppose if we are having an office, that office infrastructure, both in terms of functioning and the physical infrastructure, adequate computers should be given, adequate staff should be given, so that this office becomes adaptable to the e-governance ecosystem, and there is a smooth functioning. Then next is each government organization, they have to prepare a time bound plan. So okay, every organization, they have to prepare some plan, some specific plan, so that they can stick on to it. Okay. Then next is, it should be evaluated by an independent agency, not by government, but an independent agency should consistently check it, should constantly check and suggest the adequate corrective measures. Then we can rope in the participation of private sector in e-governance initiative. Since it requires a lot of R&D and investment, we need to rope in the participation of private sector. Then another thing is panchayat involvement. As I have said, the rural population is more in India. So if we have to give them an e-governance service, then firstly they have to get integrated. So for that, panchayat or PRIs are an important part. Then next is knowledge management ecosystem. Okay. So we are handling with many data. We are handling with a huge chunk of data. So the management of data, the data traffic, okay, all those things have to be managed. Then we have to develop an international e-government enterprise architecture framework, okay, so that all these things can function in a overall framework, okay. Then thrust on e-Kranti National E-Governance Plan 2.0. This is the e-Kranti. E-Kranti, it is called as the National E-Governance Plan 2.0, and it is holistically covering many sectors, education, health, etc. is being broadly covered also. So this can be thrusted upon, okay. Then next is the 9 pillars of digital India. Here I have given, so you can just pause and make a note of it. Then next we will move on to the Citizens Charter. Actually this is also part of GS for ethics, but here also you can use, okay. Then what is Citizen Charter? So it is like empowering citizen. Since awareness is the main problem, a citizen has to be made aware through any means, okay. So one such means is Citizen Charter. So here what we are doing is we are giving to the citizen the details about the public service delivery, and this concept is taken from UK. So it is basically a document which underlines what are the commitment of an organization towards the citizens. So if we are moving on to an organization, say we are moving on to a government department for getting a public service delivery done. So a citizen, while moving to this organization must be having a citizen charter underlining all the services and the motives of the organization, so that citizen becomes aware of the functioning of the organization. So citizen can know value for money is existing or not. I am giving money, I am giving tax, so am I getting the deserved service? That the citizen can evaluate. Then the 9 principles of citizen charter is very important. You can use it. So the principles are: quality should be there, choice, the fairness in choice should be there, then the minimum standards of the public service delivery, then value, it is dealing with the taxpayers' money, okay. Then accountability should be there, transparency. Then next is consult and involve. The decisions should be based on consultation and involvement. Then next is the innovation and improvement. It should be also there. Then there must be resource use efficiency. So already we are having scarce resources, we have to use it efficiently, okay. Then next is what are the problems with respect to the citizen charter, that we will be discussing in a while. So before that, for the development of CC or development of citizen charter, the DRPH, it is a department of government, it has given certain guidelines. So the guidelines are like, the organization must be specifying the vision and mission of the organization, and the citizen details should be given, and access points for the grievance redressal system, it should be also given. So the citizen should be aware where I can go so that my grievance redressal gets done. What is the department I should go? Okay, which is my police station? Which is the police station which is under the jurisdiction of my area? So such that many things are to be done. And compensation for failed service delivery, this is also to be taken care of. So these are the guidelines from the part of government department itself. So whenever an organization is framing a citizen charter, these things should be kept in mind. Here I have given a summary of the points which was discussed in the earlier 2 slides. So if you want notes, you can just pause and make notes out of this. So the other points which I haven't discussed, I will be discussing here. So here two more aspects you have to keep in mind, that whenever we are dealing with citizen charter, the word citizen, it is not only covering the public but all the stakeholders. So a state government official, take for instance an officer, a government officer. So apart from a government officer, he is also a citizen. So all the stakeholders are included within this definition of citizen. That is one point. Then I have already said that Indian model of citizen charter, it is taken from UK model, but we have included another provision with our citizen charter, that is expectation from clients. That means not only the citizen charter should specify what are the motives, vision and mission of the organization. That is not the only thing which need to be mentioned, but also the expectation from clients. What is the demand of the client or what is the demand of the citizen, that also should be included. Okay, so that should be taken care of. Once this is done, these things, these points, the organization is mandated to include in their citizen charters. That is, since the client expects this much from us, we are ready to provide that, such that the organization should take a step. Okay, then next is, what are the issues with respect to citizen charter in India? Okay, so the first problem is lack of public awareness and consultation. Since we are preparing for UPSC, we would know that. Anyone else preparing for any other exam, they would be knowing this term. Other than that, most of Indian people don't know even there is a initiative called citizen charter. So there is this awareness problem and consultation issue. Whenever this CC is being made also, there is no consensus being made. The organization, while making the citizen charter, they are simply sitting at a place and they are making the decision. There is no interaction with the public and consensus, that is not existing. Then unrealistic standard or time norms. Most of the time the standards specified for the service delivery will be very poor, or the time taken, that is also very poor, or it is not practical. Most of the time the time span for the delivery of a public service delivery will be more, or it will not be practical. Okay, then social perception is another issue. So there is this trust and confidence deficit. See, people will be thinking what this citizen charter is, what is the use of this, this is anyway not going to help us, we have lived like this only for past years. So this social perception and the lack of trust and confidence in such initiatives, that is one problem, because the transparency is very less in India. So people will be thinking, how can such a initiative change the social conditions? Then vested interests are there. So there is this nepotism and corruption problems. So due to vested interest, it may make the citizen charter itself a toothless tool. So it may render it ineffective. Then lack of stability due to the involved officers. Okay, so in India you can see that whenever a government officer is doing something good, he is subjected to political scrutiny, or we can tell it as a political penalty also in terms of punishment transfers. Okay, so many officers, they are getting transferred because they are not inclining to some demands of the politically unethical people in the administrative sphere. Okay, so there is this lack of stability. When such abrupt transfers are taking place, there is lack of stability in the policy framing. So next issue is poor design. Although this is, even if it is designed, the conditions or components will not be effective as such. And as I have said, lack of training is an issue. Lack of trained professionals is an issue. Then since we are starting this for the first time, it may divert the attention of the personnel from work. So an organization, it is intended to do some work, say for a government department. So if you are taking revenue department, that department is actually meant to take after the revenue functions of the state. So if they are going behind building up the citizen charter, then the actual function of revenue regulation will get hindered. Okay, then next is, there are only a few more, this is a data point which you can use, there are only a few more than 700 charters adopted in the country so far. So despite of having many organizations in India, we are only having charters for some 700 organizations. So it is only in a nascent stage. Okay, then next is the Sevatum model, which is required for the reforming of the citizen charter. This is a model which is dealing with the reformation of the citizen charter and how we can increase the efficiency. So the main components are integrated approach between the citizen empowerment, redressal satisfaction, that is faster grievance redressal, and capacity enhancement. So this is to be in a coordinated manner so that we can increase the efficiency and motive of the citizen charter. Okay. Then next is the suggestions which can be done. So one suggestion would be the Sevotum model, as I have said earlier, and this is being stressed upon by the second ARC also. Then next is focusing upon the consumer requirement. The clause I have explained earlier, expectation from client. Okay, so that clause is dealing with this aspect. First, the organization should consult with the public. What are your expectations? Once it is done, you have the organization is mandated to include that into their citizen charters. Then it should be in a simple language. It should not go in a flowery language like we have our constitution language. Okay, that is not going to reach the public. So a simple language can be used. Then service standards should be specified. Okay. Then remedies, what are the effective remedies, that also should be specified. Then training can be given. Then delegation, it is dealing with the decentralization. A team of people will do rather than a single person. Then feedback mechanism, this is dealing with the checks and balance and upgradation. Whenever there is an issue, the organization has to learn from that issue and it has to fix that issue in the subsequent manner. Then close monitoring and periodic review. So through periodic review, you can bring in many constructive changes. Okay, so these are the suggestions for reformation of the citizen charter in India. Then we will be discussing about some of the tax administration reforms also, so that you can incorporate the financial reforms in any questions which is relating to transparency of government, like governance. What are the efficiency of governance? What is the level of administrative efficiency? If such a question comes, you can include this tax administration reforms also. So recently we have been moving to a faceless assessment. Okay, faceless assessment of the tax laws. So this is in line with citizens tax charter and it is good for taxpayers also, because he is not getting humiliated. Even if some tax debates are there or tax cases are there, the faceless assessment is taking place. Okay. Then a dynamic jurisdiction to replace a single territorial jurisdiction. So this dynamic jurisdiction, this is pointing to the online means. Okay. And rather than a single person, we are having a team based assessment, so that there will be no issues of nepotism or personal vengeance being brought to the person who is subjected to the assessment. Then centralize the issues of notice by e-assessment center. These are all the reforms which are needed in the tax administration, or it need to be brought in. Okay. Then all pending and new assessment and reassessment, it can become faceless except serious frauds, tax evasion, etc. So except these serious frauds. So these are all very we will be discussing about some of the tax administration reforms taken so far. So we have been moving to a regime of faceless assessment of tax dispute. So India is having a huge number of tax dispute. So for the ease of the tax dispute grievance redressal, or for resolving the tax disputes, we have been choosing the path of faceless assessment. Okay, so the person who is convicted will be subjected to a faceless assessment by the authorities. So that is one reform. Then this you can term it as a citizens tax charter, which is good for taxpayers because they are not getting humiliated as such. There is a human treatment being offered. Then the jurisdiction, unlike the single territorial jurisdiction existing so far, we are moving to a dynamic jurisdiction which is incorporating the help of ICT also. So ICT is being used in improving the tax administration. Then team based assessment is done. So rather than a single officer involved, we are now including a team of officers to resolve these disputes. Okay. Then there is centralized issuance of notice by e-assessment center. So institutional reforms, you can quote this as an institutional reform. Institutionally also the coordination is coming in. That is, there is a predefined authority for the issuance of notice, not according to the wishes or whims of the officer. Then next is, it is becoming liberalized also. Other than the serious crimes like tax evasion, black money, benami law, etc., other small dispute or other issues, they are being taken up faceless only. So there is liberalization in the tax justice administration. Okay. Then taxpayers, they can also seek extension of time. So this is also liberalization. So personal hearing is also possible. So many tax evasion, other than tax evasion, some people may not be able to pay tax because of some agricultural distress or debt kind of problems. So for accommodating the grievances of such people, government has included the extension of time also. Then through these measures, what can be done? We can control evasion. So people will be thinking, okay, government is giving us so much of liberal attitudes, so we can also develop a moral responsibility of paying the tax correctly and control the tax evasion. And they can't state reasons like travel hurdles because everything is made online, so they can't make false excuses. Then this aids in transparent taxation and honoring the honest. This term you can use in mains. Then tax charter, how can you view that? It is both the right of taxpayers and officials. From the part of officials, if they have to administer a state, they have to have some tax. Okay, they have to get some revenue, only then they can run a state. So from the part of officials, it is their right. So from the part of taxpayers, it is their right, because the reasons why they are not paying tax, that has to be heard by the authorities. So that so in both angle, it is a right. Then faceless appeal for this random officer is allotted. So there is no issue of nepotism also, and the help of artificial intelligence is being taken also. Then another some tax reforms which have come so far is Vivad Se Vishwas Act, then abolition of dividend distribution tax, which is a good step in increasing the rank of ease of doing business in India, and that will enable more investment flowing into India, which will ultimately help in development of our country. Okay. Then next is practice question for today. Explain how e-governance can facilitate economic inclusiveness and bring social transformation in India. So try attempting this question. I will be discussing the template answer in the next class. So now we can move on to the practice question discussion, which was given in the earlier episode. The question was, e-governance is not only about the utilization of power of new technology, but also much about the critical importance of the use value of information. Explain. So here what you can give us, you can give some definition or importance of e-governance right in the introduction part. So here I have taken the definition given by World Bank. It is defining e-governance as the usage of information technologies like internet and mobile computing to transform relations with citizen, business and other arms of government. So here itself we are stressing the importance of e-governance. Okay. So then next is the potential of e-governance and how it is being misused. So I have taken some subheadings and explained with one example. So here I have the first point is with respect to administrative efficiency, what is the potential of e-governance? Okay. So here if you are relying upon e-governance, it is in lines with minimum government and maximum governance. So here I have taken the example of Bhumi portal of Karnataka. So here there was computerization of land records and health data. So here with respect to the land record computerization, you can quote Bhumi portal of Karnataka. And I have taken another examples also, that is with respect to the computerization of health data. What are the issues in these aspects? So although this is helping in equitable governance, that means all the people are targeted and there is optimum problem targeting, that is right. Also there is control of illegal land encroachment. See, many money lenders, they will be having that illegally brought collateral from the poor farmers. So that illegal land encroachment etc. are curbed. Also through collection of health data, we are able to curb the commercialization of medical field. Commercialization means many people, they will be subjected to unknown organ trafficking and all. So if you are maintaining a good database of health sector, then we can prevent the commercialization and the exploitation of the public. That is true. Then coming to the use value, but this also can be misused. Why? Data privacy remains an issue, because in India we haven't yet passed data protection bill. So critical data like health data, land record data, etc. is subjected to exploitation. So this is inherently against the data privacy which is stated in Fundamental Right Article 21. So here you can bring in a dimension of polity also through quoting some articles. So one example would be Bhumi project by Karnataka. Okay, then with respect to public service delivery, what are the aspects? So here it is ensuring transparent, accountable and responsive governance. That is true. So we are taking an example of e-Seva of Andhra Pradesh. So here this was a decentralized approach wherein there was connection between citizens and government departments for various services. So each department, it is being digitalized and connected with the citizen so that the service can be ensured, and it requires critical data like ID card or biometric verification, etc., because they have to deliver the data. But there is technical exclusion. This is a term, this is a keyword. Okay, what is technical exclusion? Those who are digitally illiterate, they will not be under the purview of this act due to digital illiteracy. And here also there is issue of data privacy. They may not be the public or the illiterate people, they may not be knowing wherever they are, whenever, how their data is getting exploited, or anyone exploiting their data. That things remain a opaque factor. Okay, then this is here also you can bring in one concept of polity. So it is like inherently against the right against exploitation, that is Article 23. Okay, then in field of education, what are the aspects? So with respect to education, if you are bringing in e-governance, this is a flexible mode of education. That is true. Okay, so online education, as we can see, this is a flexible mode and it worked well during COVID also, and it is hassle free because people don't have to travel to schools and colleges in the midst of pandemic, and they can save their useful time also. So Swayam channels, this is an initiative recently done by the government. This is dealing with the online education, and the use value of online education are being misutilized because there is lack of responsibility. See, with the advent of online education, we can see a responsibility deficit from the part of teachers and students. See, teachers, they are not working at par because they are just seeing it as a job, because the cyber crimes are including. They don't have to control the students itself, they are not interested, and they are surpassing their moral responsibilities as a teacher. They are not taking any effort to educate the children. Okay, so such instances have been there in recent times due to, and another important thing is, due to the greater access to smartphones, the addiction of children towards smartphones have increased. Okay, and whenever their parents are asking, they'll be telling we are having class. So such kinds of instances are being there. So this all things you can quote as the misutilization of the use value of online education tools. Okay, then next is what can be done. So data protection bill can be passed so that we can ensure public trust by people. Then checks and balance system should be there so that we can prevent the misuse of online education. And an example would be, we can actually give counseling sessions to students about the importance of education and the vulnerability to cyber crimes. Okay, then next is increasing the coverage and frequency of operation of helpline numbers. Okay, so whenever there is a problem with regard to any public service delivery, the people should be in a position to contact the respective authorities and get their doubt cleared, and it should be able to bridge the linguistic incapabilities. That is, apart from Hindi and English, the regional languages should be also incorporated in helpline numbers. Okay, then move on to the conclusion. So rather than efficiency, the problem of digital illiteracy, it remains a blockade to ethical and value-added application of e-governance. So here in conclusion, we are telling, so before we move on to increasing the efficiency of e-governance, first thing we have to take care is we have to digitally equip the people. Only then there is any need of increasing the efficiency of e-governance itself. Okay, so that is the template answer for today. Thank you.